Hello, my friend, and welcome to the 725th episode of the Sales Podcast. I'm Wes Schaefer, the Sales Whisperer, your host. Today we have Ilija Stojkovski. He is the CRO of a cool company called HeyReach out in North Macedonia. So, I wanted to talk technology, talking about his tool. It's Outbound. It's focused on LinkedIn, putting in some automation. So doing some cool stuff. I found him through LinkedIn. And just like 2 weeks ago, or barely even. And we had a good chat online and then a great conversation just now. And we got into a lot more than just technology. We got into the humanity side of things. Sorry about that. And I've been saying humanity is the next killer app. And he confirmed that all the way from, what is he, 9 time zones away, in Eastern Europe. Which goes to show humans are the same across the world. Remember, there's a human on the other end of the screen. So as we were talking, I signed up for their affiliate program. So I will include that in the show notes. Please use that. It puts some nickels in my pockets, helped me, my second grandchild, who's also my second grandson, just turned 2 yesterday. So, I can buy some presents. I can buy some In-N-Out if you click that link and you still pay the same amount. All right. I am still deep in some conversations and some thoughts and some analysis on where I'm taking this. I may still yet take it in a similar but different direction, combining my love of jiu-jitsu, sales, marketing, coaching, giving you the straight talk, but just streamlining things. I've made a lot of money by being a product of the product. The things that I recommend are the things that I use and can affirmatively and definitively say, yes, this is good. And here's why. Here's how to use it. So, how do I combine it? How do I simplify things? Ilija brings up a good point towards the end of this conversation. We went almost an hour. So it confirms some things, you call it synchronicity, you call it God, call it the Holy Spirit, inspiration, intuition, whatever. But when God there's the universe, when my sound bowl, whatever, when God gives you a sign, recognize it and listen. So I got several signs on this conversation, and we just wrapped it up. So I'm doing this intro and outro right away, and so I can publish this right away, so you can benefit right away. So smart guy, ask him how he got started, how they went to market, how they monetize things, how they're growing, what's working today, what isn't, and but just going through that, he's just a straight talker, dropped a few F-bombs here and there. So this one's a little spicier, but well, you've been warned. It's not crazy, but it's not Gary V spicy, but it's spicier than they typically are. But I just went with the flow, right? So good energy, honest. And so you're in for a treat. All right. Stay tuned with my 12 Weeks to Peak. Stay tuned with, if you want to plug in on that, if you want to join the inner circle, I'm still got a couple things up there, but I am rapidly and tremendously streamlining my offerings. Group training, private consulting. I don't even know if I'm going to have on-demand courses. I've got them, but some are older, need to be updated. They're still valuable, still effective, but I want to update a couple of things. But I think more and more of us just need accountability. Group coaching, one-on-one coaching, whatever, but live. Take action, be held accountable. And I need it. I think you need it. I think our customers need it. And, I experienced this way back in 2004. So the company that got me to move out here to California, I was in Austin. I was traveling out to the West Coast, had all 18 Western states for 6 months or a year. I don't remember exactly, but most of my business was Southern California. Well, California. And Phoenix, I inherited a good account there, and I grew that and grew some others. But I was always out here. And so after I was with them, I started around June with them. We moved out here in December of 04. And it was a unique piece of computer technology that was replacing the desktop. And so at the time, the company had what they called a try and buy. So it was basically a proof of concept, but they didn't charge for it. So companies would request it. We'd box up thousands of dollars of gear, ship it out, and it would sit there. And I learned an important lesson. So again, this was, by the end of 2004, early 2005, I was doing this. I came up with it on my own. But I made them buy, not the gear. I made them pay for a day of one of our engineers to come out, unbox it, well, literally deliver it, install it, train the people, and then answer any questions. 1 or 2 days, it was like $1,500 to $2,000. So it really didn't pay for the SME's time, but at least we offset most of it, right? We offset the expense, the travel, meals, lodging, and a little bit of his time. But what that did was prove that the prospect was motivated, because people will tell you, oh, yeah, that looks good. Yeah, if you do that, I'll buy it. Get them to prepay. So when they paid for this try and buy, lo and behold, they used the product. Now, before we even went there, I would ask them questions. How do you want to use it? What does it need to do? What accessories need to plug in and be compatible, blah, blah, blah. So I went through all of that. And then and in the healthcare space, I knew 90% of the tools they would need, and I knew it worked. In those 90%, it worked 100% of the time. 60% of the time, it works 100% of the time. But so it was no risk for me. So the concept was, pay for this, we'll come out, because it wasn't that their people couldn't figure it out. It wasn't that hard, but it's just when you're busy, like, do I want to spend time looking at manuals and calling the help desk and whatever? If somebody is there holding your hand, and I've told the story before about having had my sister spot me, when I was in high school, she's like, I can't lift that weight. And it's like, you don't have to lift the weight. You have to lift a little bit of weight if I get stuck towards the end. And so having somebody there helped me, A, get in the gym, B, go at it hard, get the most out of my time, out of that effort. So when you have a spotter like that, you do more. When you have somebody waiting on you, you're going to show up. You're going to focus. Okay. When you're paying for that person, you're really going to do it. So that's what I mean by, having private consulting, coaching, small group coaching. You're more accountable. Okay. So invest in yourself. And we talk about that as well, even though, I had him on because he's the CRO of a tech company, but we cover a lot of bases on this. All right. So you're in for a treat. And like I said, please, I'll put my affiliate link in here. So if you like it, click that. They have a free trial. They have 3 different pricing levels, but I think you'll like it. All right. So do that and then come back and listen to this interview with Ilija. Ilija Stojkovski. I got it right? Pretty good?
You got it.
All right, man. CRO of HeyReach. You had me at Hey First Name.
Indeed, you did.
I got you with that, huh? I got you with that Hey First Name.
Indeed, you did. I'm going to explain a little bit, but yeah.
No, go ahead. We'll jump right into it.
Well, listen, like a lot of people are the self-proclaimed about being experts in a specific field and working in X big companies, like companies like X, Google, X, whatever.
Right.
And now we're like, how does you being a part of a great company working at the lowest level job possible make you an expert on anything except for having an experience in that company, unless you were on a C-level executive? So what it all came down as a joke. And we were like, well, we run an outbound tool, like we have to be creative a little bit, right? So then one of my colleagues actually says, well, it will be great if someone had like, hey, you got me at Hey First Name, like as a variable inside of your headline. And I'm like, oh my God, this goes on my headline, whatever happens, I don't even care about this. So One thing led to another. Yeah, it was always there.
Have you seen the movie Jerry Maguire with Tom Cruise?
Yeah.
You had me at hello?
Yeah, that's the one. That's the reference.
Well, I sold to Google. So, I've eaten in their cafeteria and hit their snack bar. So maybe I should put that in my bio.
Well, if it defines what type of person and professional you are, which it doesn't, then yes, go for it.
I'm a professional eater. Visit.
Okay.
I have meetings. I eat everything you give me. I'm very polite. I mean, I was told we have to win friends and influence people, right? We've got to be known, liked, and trusted. So, I eat your food, then you like me?
Yes, like a proper Googler, I'd say. Yes, you should definitely do that.
All right. So, yeah, you are, we were talking about geography. I think you're the first guest from North Macedonia. So, we're breaking down barriers, man. That's cool. But
cool.
But HeyReach, so you're the CRO for HeyReach, $6 million in ARR in 23 months. And y'all are doing, your cover photo here, 10x your LinkedIn outreach without scaling your team. Why do I need to do that? Isn't LinkedIn all API fanatics? I'm hearing about, what was it? Seamless just got shut down. Another company, Aware, they're shutting down this month.
Apollo.
Should we be playing games with LinkedIn? How can I be safe using your software? Are you just going to blow me up?
Well, if we were blowing up things, then we would not have scaled. Like that's a contradictory one to another. No, I mean, down
Well,
to the
kind of. I mean, you can blow up for a minute. Like Aware, people were like, use it. I got a Notion app open right now. This guy's like, here's the cadence for LinkedIn.
yeah, yeah.
Spend 30 minutes on Aware. And now I go, and I'm connected with Alex Boyd. And he's like, no longer functioning as of August 31st. So you can kind of blow up for a while and then you can blow up, just
Indeed,
being
indeed.
argumentative.
It's true. No, it's true. It's completely true. But let's break it down a little bit. I mean, on a very high end, if you look at this as an end consumer, which is not inside of this game, which is 99.9% of the world, you will go and the first impression will be, oh my God, something serious happens. Seamless is no longer found on LinkedIn and Apollo is no longer found on LinkedIn. And this is like, oh my God, like every LinkedIn account out there, now it's in jeopardy just because they tried to generate some extra pipeline. That's all there is. But then again, if you just break it down a little bit, Apollo and Seamless and Ocean and every other band, it's not out of business. Basically, they're still operational. They are still having a whole bunch of related LinkedIn things. But this is the first time actually LinkedIn making a statement, hey, you cannot do many things on my platform. So when it comes to the LinkedIn data, you have essentially two things, right? It's first the data set, meaning the data that LinkedIn holds, owns, etc., etc. Basically their biggest asset. And then you have the automations upon that data. What we do as a tool, we do not play around with the LinkedIn data in the first place. We play around with the automation, meaning the orchestration of how you should properly utilize on LinkedIn
Okay.
data. Now, if you are thinking, well, LinkedIn is not the data, it's a social platform for social engagements. Oh my God, you're so wrong. Just because, like, if that was the case, then why is LinkedIn selling Sales Navigator licenses to basically to people to extract data from their database? So let's be honest here and let's be real. No social platform in the world is a social platform. It's just an element of their core business. What every social platform down to the core is, it's a data warehouse, which consists of data points for every prospect, meaning every account that was ever created on their platform. Is what is differential between LinkedIn and like they sell that data points throughout different shapes and forms, such as Sales Navigator, such as paid advertisements, such as boost your posts, and so on and so forth. So they are in market for selling data, not outside of their environment, but inside of their environment. And then you have, and by the way, you have the recruiter subscription that LinkedIn also says for $1,000 per month. So let's be honest here about how LinkedIn are first perceiving themselves, how are they making revenue, and how are they getting pissed off if somebody is doing things on their platform. Because, and I'm sorry, I'm going to give you a longer response over here, but then again, like the biggest asset that LinkedIn holds is actually the LinkedIn profiles, meaning the data. Why? It's because it's the only self-updated database in the world. No other platform, not Apollo, not ZoomInfo, not your CRM, no other platform is getting self-updated. Meaning your people will never come to you to say, hey, Vas, I've just changed my job. No, they will go on LinkedIn. That's why LinkedIn is self-updating itself, which makes LinkedIn database the most valuable database in the world, along with, I mean, when it comes to B2B, obviously, not with, I want to buy products from Temu, like you can find that on Instagram. Long story short, they are looking to protect on the data. The bigger players which got banned or removed are where basically they were utilizing on the LinkedIn data at a larger scale. I'm no technical expert. I've never worked there. I don't really want to do anything, but all of these platforms actually hold LinkedIn URLs, meaning links to people on LinkedIn. So that means that they actually stored partials or parts of the LinkedIn data. And at some point, LinkedIn actually said, well, listen, you cannot do this anymore. Or if you are doing this, I mean, I cannot be seen together with you because I'm trying to sell on the Sales Navigator and you're selling your own subscriptions under your platform. So what we've done is, I mean, without giving out speculations, no more because I've thrown a lot at the very opening. But then again, the thing is, what happens to the rest of it? To the rest of the tools who are not focused on the data or selling on data, but actually on the orchestration of data. Because, well, what good is to have a lot of data if there is no proper orchestration? And what point is there to have a great orchestration if you don't have a great data set? So those things have to align one to another. So I'd like to think, at least, that we are in this gray area where we basically, I mean, LinkedIn is aware of us. I mean, it's a $7 million company. Actions are being executed. Brand recognition is happening. It's happening on their platform, on other platforms, and so on and so forth. But then again, like, why we are not doing that? Because we are helping LinkedIn to prove a case that they should be perceived as the data set that should be purchased through Sales Navigator licenses and executed through automation tools. I mean, for last but not least, LinkedIn has this thing that says, pay me to send emails to people you're not connected with. I mean, they are actually doing the same thing. It's like whether it's somebody else is doing the same thing with their data.
Right, but isn't the argument? I mean, it's their
Yeah.
database, it's their website, so they can do with it as they please. Are you working around the system? Are you working within the system?
Yeah.
Is there any risk? Because I'm not quite sure how your software works. I've dabbled with a few of them. There's so many. The tech stacks that I'm reading from some of these influencers boggles my mind. I mean, guys are using 4 to 6 to 8 CRM, data enrichment, cold email, on and on and on. I'm like,
What's
who's
going on?
managing this stuff?
Most commonly, it's going to be the agencies managing this stuff. But yeah, we will get to that part.
But is it needed? Does it have to be that complex? Are we doing stupid shit just because we can? Or is it needed?
Wes, I don't really have an answer to that question, but this is what I'm going to tell you. So, what's happening currently in the outbound world is, well, it's inbox saturation. What that means is basically the same audience is receiving shit ton of emails from various vendors or various offers all around the globe. That's what the internet actually brought to, especially on the US market. That's what it brought to your market. I mean, we do not get so many offers and so many emails. You guys do that. Why? Because you are the most attractive market into the world. So you have all of these guys trying to make a business with US companies. By doing that, like obviously a bunch of tools emerged, such as Instantly for email sending or Lamblist or SmartLead, which made the scalability of reaching more people cheaper, right? So there is no technical objection for you to reach out to hundreds of thousands of people in a month without that costing you a fortune, right? So basically you just purchase domain, purchase inboxes, and you start sending emails. Now, because like the saturation actually happened, you have the same legitimate businesses who want to do business with specific companies and they need to do business and they're relevant for each other, but they cannot get in touch one to another. Reason being is because the recipient is obviously immune to receiving emails and it's immune to receiving cold calls because cold calls are also saturated at the same time. So numbers are saturated. And then again, you have like this place where you need to be where, okay, cool. So what are the other available channels for a sales rep to actually reach out to a specific business and say, hey, listen, we should do business for XYZ type of reasons. And this is why I think like we are the greatest fit, right? So now people are exploring other channels on how to do that. This is where LinkedIn comes into play, right? Because that's the next like best channel when you go through cold calling and email, like the traditional ones. What's the next best? Well, it's going to be LinkedIn because it's BT. Now, this was like the LinkedIn outbound was always there. It was never formalized in a form of a tool that can actually do things. And this is where the like the whole thing emerged for LinkedIn orchestration and like LinkedIn outbound emerged as a concept in an orchestrated way using a third-party unauthorized LinkedIn tool such as HeyReach. Now, as things are developing and other people are looking for solutions, etc., etc. Now, we've as a HeyReach tool, as LinkedIn tool, as HeyReach, we've noticed this gap that people are doing a lot of emails, but they cannot follow up on LinkedIn on those a lot of emails. Now, let's merge and orchestrate the whole thing if we can. Now, this is where things are getting messy and complex. Why? Because you need to connect multiple tools to work with each other. And that's why you have on the uprise, you have tools like Zapier, Make, and A10, who actually build out all of these tools. And the emerging technology of AI is coming into play where they can understand a bunch of tools together and start sending messages on other people's behalf.
Man.
That's a little history of outbound, if you will, like modernly outbound. Or my view on it, by the way.
Yeah, it's how do we reach people, right? Because
You
like
want
you
my, you
said,
want,
go ahead.
sorry to jump in. Sorry to
No,
jump in. You want my best response? Like, because I was on a live event and people asked me, okay, Ilija, you talk about this inbox saturation that is happening everywhere. How can I reach people? And I'm like, in their postal, on their postal address, like on their address, on their actual address with an envelope, like the old fashioned way. Yeah. Yeah.
I send cards.
Why?
I mail my book.
Why? Because it's the least saturated inbox that they have.
Yeah,
So it's basically their utility bills and, well, nothing. Nobody even sends like happy birthday gift cards and happy Merry
but
Christmas.
even
So
that, how do we reach them? Like right now, where are you? Are you in an office? Are you at home? Are you at a co-working space?
no,
Where are you?
no. Yeah, I'm actually in my office. So basically, you need a strategy in regards to this one. Send one at home if you
But
can pull
is it
that information.
a home office or a corporate office?
No, it's a corporate office.
Okay.
No.
But I
But
mean,
still,
that
yeah,
since COVID, that has become rarer.
yeah, of
A
course.
lot more hybrid work from home. It's hard to even find. Like I don't answer my phone. It's rare that I answer my phone.
I got that.
I get emails, but I look at them skeptically. You know, I'm hovering over delete, delete, delete. Then okay, star, star, star. Then I'll come back. Oh, immediate, boom, boom, boom. Come back to them later.
Yeah.
DMs, mostly spam, bad pitches. You know, we were talking before we hit record about just the lack of humanity. I mean, people, AI is decent. EI is a good overlay or starter for some
Mhm.
content. I mean, most people are terrible at content. Most people are terrible
Oh,
at
yeah.
speaking. Most people are terrible at just connecting with a human being. So AI is a start, but still I get pitched every day for the podcast. Hi, Wes. You are doing great work at Wes Schaefer the Sales Whisperer the Sales Podcast. I really liked your last interview with Ilija, where you talked about LinkedIn saturation. Anyway, I would like to recommend Joe Blow. Delete.
No. Okay. This whole AI thing, this whole AI concept, like led people to believe that if they can over personalize and the research that they can do on specific people, that this will lead to business. That was the groundbreaking thing that happened 1 year ago. And this is where tools like Clay emerged, like ChatGPT. I mean, ChatGPT predominantly is used in this part of the world for hyper-personalization of data. So basically, get as much as you can about Wes, get those information, structure them into a one-liner, and that's a whole prompt, and basically mention something about a post to create a bridge. And once you create that bridge, well, pitch them XYZ type of service. Now, what people are starting to realize is that it's not about how big you can go, because that was never the case. That was never that, there was this great thought that it was like, if you reach out to 100,000 people and you manage to generate business for 0.01%, that's like, I don't know, 10 people. Would you consider that to have a great success? And remember, like these 10 people actually brought you $500,000, right? Is that a great success? And people will like, of course it is, because I've generated X amount of money and, well, X amount of money was invested. So the ROI is awesome. But then again, like, do you really care about that you pissed off like 99.9 times or whatever the name is, but basically everyone, like, because not pissed off, like most people don't even see that, but from the ones that did, I can assure you they were not happy, because if they were, they would have been fitting into those 10 people. So scalability is not a solution to grow a business. It is like a way of thinking. It's a way of doing things. But is it the right way? Probably not. Now, what people did was essentially, I have this option to scale a lot, but I need hyper-personalization to make it relevant. Like it seems like I did my research on that person. So that was the very beginning, and people were amazed by it. But then again, we've again came to another place where a lot of these people are receiving the same emails because it's the same fucking prompt, right? Everyone is using the same. It will always be the same output. So now people are receiving the same personalized emails. So now you're thinking, well, we did a scale, it worked. Now it didn't work. Now we did a personalization. Now it worked. Now we've created another saturation, which is hyper personalization on a bigger scale. And now you're thinking, well, what's next? So the what's next is obviously a proof of concept that this can be a spike, but it can never be a business. It can never be a lifetime. A lifetime can always be two people meeting with each other, understanding each other's needs, and deciding whether this is the solution, meaning there is a problem, and whether there is a solution that can solve that problem right now, and whether they are willing to invest money and time into it. That's all there is. Now, what people are not doing and they should be doing is using the AI for relevance. Why would my offering or my solutions to problems would be relevant for Wes, for his podcast, for his business, for his agency, for his whatever, right? And this is where the deep research will clean up on the data. So instead of sending 100,000 of emails, now you're limited to 100 emails, which basically did a deep research and said, there are chances that Wes would be actually interested in your offer. And this is where you don't need to have to personalize. You just need to go with something like, hey, Wes, I saw that you are pissed off at hyper-personalization, but Ilya actually said about relevance. We have a relevance tool. Would you like to try it out? That's a generic message with a small personalization, obviously. But then again, it has to start with relevance and then be communicated inside of like the outbound copy, meaning the message, whether it's LinkedIn, email, cold call, you choose the channel. Like it doesn't make any difference. Like it's going to be obviously the saturation of the inbox going to take an effect, but still it will be hyper relevant. And that's what people are missing these days.
Yeah. I mean, spike is a good word. I mean, people just jump from one to the other. I know a guy, it's big in the space. And I guess last week, ChatGPT 5 came out. And so all the cool kids were talking about how disappointed they were in ChatGPT 5. And I'm like, why does it really matter?
Let me
Why
tell you a
does it
funny
really
story.
matter?
So basically, when you're building out a product, there is a lot of feedback, right? So people who are happy with it, people who are not happy with it, people who really want to see you do good, people who really just hate you for what you did. That's going to happen for every business, and it's happening inside of our product. So at some point, like there was this trend that voice notes on LinkedIn, actually, when you record a voice note, people actually respond to it. So increases the response rate. So on your mobile phone, to me, for instance, you can record a voice note and say, hey, Ilya, yada, 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 let's chat about XYZ, right? So then a lot of people started asking us, and we were a small startup back then. We could not have just developed things for the sake of it, like we were not that experienced, if you will. And it became a blockage to close some deals because people came to us and said, hey, you guys don't have voice notes? Like these guys have voice notes and we're going to go with them just because of the voice note. And I was like, well, listen, cool. I'm going to pay for the subscription that you need to pay to them. And this is where I get your attention, right? And you're going to do what? I'm going to pay for the subscription on the other tool that you want to use. Would that be cool? And I'm like, yeah, sure. Why? I want you to come back to me and tell me, okay, you are sending voice notes. I'm pretty sure that you will hit high reply rate because it's a new form of communication. People are not sending. So it's like, what the fuck is this? Let me hear that out. So people will hear your message. But you don't know how to explain yourself 15 seconds unless you are so profound or you have done it so fast that you can make the most out of it in 15 seconds because that's the attention span. And second, I want you to tell me of all the people who responded, how is that affecting your business? So basically, okay, I've sent a voice note, this person understood me, and now we are in business just because I've sent that voice note. And like the person actually said, you have a deal. Awesome. I paid for the subscription, I don't know, $500 or something like that. They started blasting voice notes. Obviously, a very terrible voice note, like a bad mic, bad everything, bad like accent. Let's be honest, I'm from Eastern Europe. Like you, obviously, I have an accent and I'm not ashamed of it. I have a weird name for you guys. Not ashamed of it. That it is what it is. But then again, you cannot expect someone to be perceptive and say, oh my God, yes, I don't care about any of those things. Just because you've sent me a voice note, I'm going to do business with you. So one thing led to another. Their plan actually failed. The trend is already gone. And now like they are a customer over here and they always like remember that somebody else paid for their subscription. So you see my point, like everything blows over unless it's conducted properly.
Yeah. Yeah. And I see, like, I'll send, I send videos. I wish it was better. Like you can't do it natively in the app with like Navigator or LinkedIn. You got to make a video, then attach it. They don't make it easy. But I send real videos. Like I signed up for this woman's thing and I got I think it was on Instagram, and I got an email or a message, but it's generic. But most people don't catch it because she doesn't say my name.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
So I know it's a
doesn't stand out.
generic thing.
Yeah.
Hi, thank you for your interest. It's so good to hear from you. And I'm like, whatever.
The marketing teams actually made that fuck up inside of our inboxes, because every tool that you use, everything like that you sign up to, now you're in somebody's funnel. You are
Yeah.
in somebody's list and you're somebody's stuff like that. And you now start receiving generic messages that really don't really associate for what you've signed up in the
Trying to see,
first place. It's
trying to see
just
if I
like
got any paper, right? Or they'll hold up like a blank
yeah,
whiteboard, and
yeah,
then your
yeah,
name will be drawn on it, but it's all
yeah,
AI. It's like whatever, dude.
yeah. So because the top of the funnel signups actually started getting saturated again, so people started getting creatives. Hey, like, yes, this is me. Oh my God, you've never received an email from a marketing team. Now you have it. I have your name over here. Let's chat. Now that thing is not working because obviously like it's gone. So it's like nobody cares
And
about
I put
yeah.
fake names on there, like funny names, so I know if I get it, then it's like it's not real. But something else, I tell this every time. I have a dash in my name, West Dash, and then I just added my jiu-jitsu gi as well. So this will be interesting to see how long it takes to propagate, because I still get messages. I worked with a company in 2006. I got a
Mhm.
call last week with that company name, and I haven't used it since like 2007. But with that dash in my name, I get emails, messages. Hi, West Dash. So I'm like, okay, I know it's scraped, but man, most of the messages I get. So LinkedIn is powerful.
Oh yeah.
It seems like it is the source of the vast majority of marketing people, agencies, or whatever. Because so many of my messages are hi, West Dash.
I mean, people are using like obviously there is the technical mess up between what am I using and how am I understanding to make this thing closer to human language. This is where the AI will help and clean up the names and clean up the understanding and stuff like that. But then again, LinkedIn will be powerful just because like behind that outreach, there is a first name, last name, and a company and whole bunch of information. It's like giving out like cards, right? So instead of just giving out cards to an event that you've visited, you are just giving out digital cards by presenting your LinkedIn profile. And that's why like people like to click on that profile, like to see who they are before they respond to the messages. One thing that you can now there is this thing on LinkedIn Outbound. So basically, I'd like to call it too soon versus too late, because too soon on LinkedIn can be really, I'd like to call this the American way because Europe like doesn't talk like this, but you guys do, hey, this is why I don't like, here is the link and let's meet. Like that's all there is, like more straightforward approach. Europe, like you probably get reported spam just because you've sent a link to meet. Nevertheless, so the too soon approach, it's not respecting LinkedIn on what they are in a segment. Outside being them for a database, they're a social platform at the end of the day, right? So because of that, like don't treat like the channel itself like a communication channel. It's not email, it's not cold call, it's not like nobody invites you into that inbox, but the people actually gave permission when they clicked on that accept button. So that's why you have to be a little bit respectful, like towards the idea of acceptance and not be spammy. So too soon will be, hi Vas, you do podcasts, we have this great LinkedIn tool. Here is my calendar link. Let's discuss. That's too soon. But then again, LinkedIn has too late thing. And a too late thing, which is something that probably in the US you also get like spanked for it, but in Europe, like it, you'll be greatly appreciated for it. If you go with something like, hey Vas, what's the weather like in, well, where are you based, by the way?
California.
What's the weather like in Los Angeles, in San Francisco, and whatever? And or what's the best restaurant to visit in San Francisco? Now the question is like if you do that in US, like you're scaring me, like what the fuck, like nobody asked me this, like go away. And if you go in Europe, oh my god, it's sunny in Italy and so on and so on. So it's a culturological thing. Then again, like if you start off with that, the question is, let's say best case scenario, people actually respond, yes, oh my god, the weather is great. How are you going to turn that conversation into a business related conversation? So basically you are ambushing people just to get to slip into their inbox and get them talking on unrelated topic,
Right.
right? So there has to be a sweet spot between I'm going to slap you with a calendar link and what's the weather like or what's the best restaurant you eat in
Mm.
XYZ region. Where are you based,
Mm-hmm.
by the way? So in that place. So the sweet spot, in my opinion, and what was tested obviously throughout the period of time, was essentially thank you for accepting a connection request. Obviously, you didn't have to do that, but you did. So thank you for that. To introduce myself, my name is Ves, and I'm a veteran. My name is Ilija. I'm not going to take you for an example. My name is Ilija. I'm the CRO at HeyReach, and HeyReach is essentially a LinkedIn tool that enables people like you, your company, or you personally, to make the most out of LinkedIn. Is this something worth exploring? Right? Because regardless of how you've ended up with the lead list, regardless, like if you have an estimated relevance, you still don't know one crucial thing, which is it timely?
Yep.
Is it now the right time to solve this? Because my solution covers, I don't know, 5 problems, right? This solution, I mean, HeyReach as a tool has solution for 5 problems in whatever segment, in whatever audience. So every business has that. But then the question is, like, the people that I'm going to reach, are they willing to make the next step? And that next step is actually investing time in terms of like changing the operations that they're doing, for my case, obviously, and are they willing to spend money on it, right? And that's something that you have to discover in a form of a question. Vast approach, pre-qualifying question. Hey, this is what it is. This is the problem that we are solving. Is this worth exploring, solving right now?
Right.
And that's all there is. Really.
So your platform, it's automated, right? It's doing the outreach. I see your if then kind of variable, right? Campaign start, connection request, accepted, not accepted, 1 day, like post, in mail. So this is running automatically.
Want me to share a screen and walk you through like a little bit or not? Like that's not.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Because I'm just trying to understand, I've been big in the CRM space for decades, and I'm honestly torn right now. Like, so many tools have automation, and we're living in various platforms like this. So,
Yes.
where does the CRM come into play? And do we need a big, multi-$1,000 a month HubSpot enterprise, or can we get away with, a $50 pipe drive and Zapier, and have tools like yours automating the key things? Maybe you for LinkedIn, maybe there's another tool for Instagram, where I don't know, another tool for this, and then pull them in once they raise their hand. Now, boom, put them in the CRM, create a pipeline, stage 1 or whatever, and now I can start building predictability and roadmaps and whatever else.
Yes, CRMs are here to stay. And whether they should cost that
For
much,
sure. For
not
sure.
sure.
But like, if I'm dealing, the large enterprise, you're going to need the Salesforce and the HubSpot and whatever. But the typical SMB, 50 employees, 100 employees, solopreneurs, 5 employees, do they need
No,
HubSpot? Can they do an active campaign, an Entreports, a Go High Level?
Or just a simple Google Sheet, which is free.
Yeah, that's a little rough.
But it is.
There's not enough. But I get your point. I think you need a little more than a Google Sheet, but I'm leaning more and more towards you don't need. Well, it depends on the number of leads you get and how far.
No. Let me stop you right there. Inside of Google Sheet, you have this thing called Google Scripts. So if you are using multiple APIs, you can pretty much connect a Google Sheet to various other tools out there, and they will be executed in specific timeframes and schedules.
Absolutely.
So,
but yeah, it's like I use an iPhone instead of Android or Microsoft, because I'm willing to pay a little more to just have shit running.
Of course.
So
here is the thing. If you have a CRM, right? And what's a typical CRM? You basically have a shit ton of contacts, some of them verified, some of them unverified, some of them with touch points, some of them without touch points. And then you have deals, people who we are actively engaged, whether we are going to close or not close, or whatever it is that we are going to proceed inside of the next step of the funnel. In my opinion, the best data source in the world will become, for bigger companies, obviously, their CRMs. That's the starting point. You don't really need external tool to buy data for cold outbound. Start with your CRM. First, clean it, because let's be honest, 90% of the companies have dirty data in their CRM, especially when people
everybody has dirty CRM data.
Everyone has. So first, clean up your CRM. That's number 1. Second, segment your CRM. Meaning, do you want to talk with people who visited the pricing page, or Do you want to talk with people who try to schedule a meeting, but the meeting never happened? So segment your CRM after the cleanup. Third, reach to your CRM. And this is where tools come to play, because what HubSpot, for instance, is offering, I don't know about Salesforce. I'm no Salesforce expert. I'm no HubSpot expert, by the way. But then again, what HubSpot is offering is for extra money. You can get there for $3,000+ You can get their subscription that will open up like a sequencer to basically send out emails. Now, as we've discussed, emails are saturated. Now, then again, how do you justify an extra investment to pay for something that is not going to be seen in the first place? So this is where, for the same money that you can pay, you can get. And by the way, email when executed, it cannot be executed by your primary domain at a larger scale, because you jeopardize of marking your domain as going to spam 24/7, and you don't really want to do that. So you have to do this with fake similar domains to reach out higher audience, right? And then again, this is where you need tools. And then you basically get tools that do exactly that. And they integrate with your CRM to handle the responses or to handle like the activity that happened on these tools. So basically, you don't really need the premium. You need a free subscription on HubSpot or whatever, like the $50 one to cover on the basis. And then again, you need two other tools without any AI and personalization, by the way, inside of the mix to send out your messages that you want to do. Email is saturated. You have to do that at a slightly bigger scale with different domains. This is where you get an email tool for that. And the second thing is you get a LinkedIn tool for that, HeyReach, preferably. And basically, you just start sending LinkedIn engagements and LinkedIn messages. So, and then you lock that back inside of your CRM.
What
That's the whole
about,
thing.
I mean, sometimes people, I mean, that they'll opt in for a contact us or a white paper or blog or
Yeah.
something,
Yeah.
but even that, like, I'm torn. It seems like it's more effective nowadays to just keep stuff simple, run ads, drive them to a demo. But I mean, like, what if I don't have a demo, right? Like, I don't sell software myself. I sell other people's software. I'm an affiliate, So for non SaaS companies, if somebody opts in, I can email them. That's going to land in their inbox because they requested it, especially if I do it right. And it's from my main
Of course.
domain. You requested, I send a confirmation, you confirm.
Mm-hmm.
Now I want to drip on you from my own system.
Yeah.
So what's that play? What's that tech stack looking like? Because I'm looking at your site, I don't see a blog. And well, is it under oh, you got a blog, so under resources.
Mm,
But like
yeah.
you don't lead with it, right? A lot of people get the blog, get the newsletter, read.
No. No.
You're cutting to the chase. Here's how our stuff works. Boom, try it for free. Oh, okay.
Well, that's a positioning and a marketing thing. So basically, what we've decided is you have so many resources out there that nobody's even reading things. Like Google is being replaced with ChatGPT for people to get the response that they need. I actually do that. I don't go through blogs to read out things.
Right.
Somebody else should do this to get me that response, and I want it yesterday, not today. Today is too late, obviously. Now, that's why the positioning is about this is what we do. And if this makes sense, this is where you start. And if you need extra information, well, just find yourself around or just ask an LLM module to actually tell you what this site is all about. So
Yeah.
that's like the adapting to the new user behavior. That's why everyone starting off with blogs and user testaments and stuff like that. Do you really people just click on that? If you have some sort of tracking, just check on the numbers in Google Analytics. You'll see. Now, the second thing, it's about why don't we just go with the simple setup? And what's a simple setup, if I may ask? Well, running ads. Okay. How much money do you actually have to spend until you figure out, not effectively utilize this, but figure out how ads are done properly? And this is where people burn out on budget. Now, let's be honest, Google is not your cheapest friend who is going to help you. No, man, like they're going to charge you for everything that you don't know. And well, you're going to pay a lot until you figure this out. Or unless you hire someone, which is adding an extra money to the whole mix, but their retainer plus the ad spend, and they are not even a guarantee that they can do a great job, by the way. So now you're burning a lot of cash for something that was never really proven to be working. And the question is, what's going to last longer? Your willingness to run the business or the money in your bank? Like obviously money in the bank will run out this is where your willingness to run a business will actually is gone out of the door.
Mm-hmm.
So there is no simple answer. Outbound is the cheapest way to actually start doing things. That's number one. The way it can get complicated, it doesn't have to be too expensive, but it has to prove a point. Hey, listen, I have an audience, I have a sample, I have a target segmented market. Is my offer going to work against this segmented market? If like it's working like a charm, 10,000 people reach 100 people want to do a demo, invest in ads because you know your market. Now you know what you're doing. See my
Yeah.
point?
Well, and I've harped on that forever. People come to me, I want this CRM, I want that. I'm like, you're not ready for it. I want more leads. I want more traffic. I'm like, do you want more traffic or more leads? Well, more leads. You want more leads or more qualified leads? Well, yeah, more qualified. You want more qualified leads? You want more customers? Well, I mean, if you're going to be picky, it's like until you've optimized your conversions at each level, at each step. Yeah, like you were saying,
That's
throw 100,000 and you get 10. Okay, fine. But why not dial it in and know that you'll get 100, get 1,000?
Wes, I'm actually doing this thing because I see it every day. Like you have these young kids, young guns, like who actually figure out how to build out a couple of things together. Now they are an agency offering agency services and so on and so forth. And a client, actually they retain a client on average for less than 3 months. Why? Because like it's very easy to impress a person who was, I don't know, like hardcore sales and stuff like that, and now it's a coach or a consultant, and like showcase like the fancy tools and the fancy ways of thinking, and that person has money and obviously will say, okay, you're like 3k 5k whatever k, okay, do this thing for me, right? And but that person is no dumb, like they don't know how to do technology, but they know how to do business. And they will basically go, I saw your technology, but it's not generating any business. So thank you very much. And good luck with everything that you're doing. And like false promises, like ever since that movie Wolf of Wall Street came out, like everyone is like Leonardo DiCaprio, even though they're not. So basically, the agencies are now struggling because they don't have experience in this one in client fulfillment. Like even on the very early stage when we were a product, and this is a product, not even a service, we were always discussing, and obviously the CEO and the CRO will always be, we need more, we need more, we need more. And everyone is, we need more. And I was like, with one simple question. Hey, if we added 1,000 users right now into the system, like today, can the system sustain that? The CTO goes, well, no. Well, why the fuck are we talking about scaling when we cannot fulfill like the promises? Let's talk about scaling once we know that we are good to go. Does it make
Yeah.
sense? And let's focus on the next 100, not on the next 1,000. So yeah.
How do the good guys stand out then? Because, like, my ideal customer, let's say I've got a $15,000 consulting offer, and I'm going to stay with them till we get it right. We're going to dial it in. We're going to do the hard work. I'm going to ask the hard questions. We're going to slaughter the sacred cows. We're going to get stuff right. We're going to build a foundation that can infinitely scale. But in the meantime, they're distracted. They see these 3 and 5K offers promising all this latest and greatest stuff. So now they go spend their budget on 5 different K whiz bang things. They fail 3 months, 6 months later. They find me. They're like, damn, I spent all my money kissing all these frogs. Now I don't have any money. I don't have any sales. I've burned up my domain reputation, but can you please help me? How you talking about too early or too late? How do we catch them in that sweet spot before they spend all their money on all the magic potions and spells that don't work?
Wes, I can only talk about the things that I've did, and I've basically grown this company from zero because I'm part of this team before the product was even built. I actually helped out the product on how the product should look like. And just today, we've crossed the bar of 7 million in total ARR in 25 months. And inside of that process, we never really spent a dime on outbound, paid ads, or any typical thing that you will find. And obviously, you will see blogs and stuff like that, but we didn't do that. Like that came after the second million, right? When we actually had money to invest in something that we were doing. So I can tell you what we've done. And other people, well, they can do the same thing or try to replicate the same thing.
So what did you do? You built a product for outbound, but you didn't do outbound?
Yeah. I mean, we did some outbound at the very early stages, but then again, Wes, you asked me, how do you pronounce my name? Do you really expect like somebody like similar to Wes, and let's say that you are my target audience, and I proactively try to reach you, and the meeting starts off with, "Hi, Ilija," or "How do I call you?" Right? Do you buy? No, no, you don't, because everyone's biased. Who are you? Where are you coming from? Are you from Russia? Are you a Russian spy? Because your name looks Russian. You see my point? That's a pretty fucked up objection to have when you're, especially when you're coming from a third world country, right? And it's all good. And then you go with, and now US is, by the way, our number one market. Now, this is what every business should be doing and should focus their like efforts on: building out referrals. Building out referrals. If people don't know you, but you want to work with you, somebody has to say something about you. You're not going to trust, like, they're not going to trust you. They don't care about the skill. They're not going to even listen to you or open up your email. Start with referrals. Open up your checkbook. Open up every person that you know. Is this person connected to businesses like XYZ? Hey, Joe, like, what's up? Are you connected with businesses who do XYZ? Because I have an offering for them. And Joe goes, hey, no, I know Jack. And Jack actually does that. Maybe you should look him up. So obviously, this is how you get into place where you just start a little bit with growing your business and putting some money inside of the bank account so you can make things happen after later stage. At the very beginning, I mean, let me tell you this: as a CRO, like now I'm a CRO, but then back then I was just Ilya. So the only metric that we followed wasn't the MRR, the ARR, the fancy metrics that were like, I don't know, whoever thought of them. The only metric that we followed: how much money do we have in our bank account? Are we buying for $1 and selling for $2? Good. That's where we need to be. Why? Because we are making an extra dollar, all cost covered, cool, and an extra dollar in our bank. So the only metric is, like, I don't care about the vanity metrics. I care about how much money do we have in the bank so we can continue the story that we started to tell in the first place. So nevertheless, start with referrals, start with people you know, start with people you don't know. Be general kind.
How do you
Don't
get
sell on-
referrals for something you haven't yet created?
Well, you have to create something. You have to create an offering, right?
Or, well, let's say it is created, but I mean, it's not like they're brand new. You know, you're new to market. How do you get those first paying customers?
Well, what we've did is, well, we've picked up on the phone on people we know. Hey guys, do you know something about someone? And obviously, when you put a couple of people together, we started posting a little bit on LinkedIn, and people started, well, not begging, but actually asking, like, hey, I'm doing this thing. Would you help me? Now, it started with the closest circle of people, former employees, so on and so forth, basically. People started sending us other people, and these other people actually didn't, well, they didn't convert just because there was someone in between. But then again, we started asking one crucial question, and this is because we have a product, and anyone who has a service, like, it's going to be, well, different. Two crucial questions. If it was a money thing, because I don't know if I have a validated offer. It's a brand new market. This is brand new me. And the question was, okay, do you understand everything that I do? Yes or no? Let's say yes. Do you feel like this is going to help you in everything that you are doing? Yes or no? If not, yeah, like, could you continue? And do you feel like this is a fair price that I'm asking for? And if not, what's your fair price for this solution of this problem? And basically, once you acquire like 5 of those responses, for 2 things will happen. Either you will be smart enough to change the price based on a user feedback, right? Or, I mean, 3 things will happen. Now, either it will be that. Second will be, you have to lower the price in order to close that deal, but it was okay because you never really knew. Or you're going to be dumb enough to continue pushing and pursuing people that this is the price that they should pay. So unless you are generating shit ton of operational cost to deliver on the product or the service, now you should definitely lower the price. And start off your 6th conversation with the price that was suggested from the first 5 meetings. And that's the first question. And the second question is, well, listen, everything seems fine, price seems fine, but we're still not deciding to continue. For me, the crucial question was, what's your ideal solution that can justify like this money? Obviously, things are missing. Like, people will always be like in the no man's land where they go, this is all great, but if this is like this small thing was there, I would have definitely. And I'm like, okay, cool, no worries. Yeah, I'm not going to promise you that we are going to build it out, but for me, it was like, let's get market validation of what's missing on the market, because they would have found that by now. And I was like, okay, so what's your ideal LinkedIn solution, or what's your ideal offer, whatever. So, and those guys started saying, we didn't close, obviously. But then again, by 2 months later, 3 months later, once we acquired a lot of responses, we've got a roadmap. How much money did we lose because we didn't have XYZ? We lost X amount of money. Cool. Can we develop this thing? Yes, we can. How much? 2 months. Awesome. And this is where you just listen to the market and just adopt a solution in place. So that's
Yeah.
our story, essentially.
All right. I like it. Well, look, man, it's 8 p.m. for you. I have
Yeah.
signed up as an affiliate as you were talking. So who says men
Yep.
can't multitask, huh?
No, you definitely can. It will be messed up if I signed up as an affiliate to your platform while talking.
So I'm going to link out to you. I'm going to get my affiliate link and link to you, but you've got 3 packages, starter, agency, and an unlimited.
Yeah.
Unlimited LinkedIn senders, 1 flat monthly fee. So I'll be linking out to you and sharing that. And, but man, yeah, this went better than I hoped.
Really?
Oh
Yeah,
man,
prejudice.
because you answered the real questions, in a real way, and that's all I try to get to. It's just let's cut through the fluff. Selling is hard, I think it's harder now, but there are things we can do, stupid things that make it even harder, unnecessarily
Yeah,
difficult, right?
unnecessarily difficult.
I still believe, especially now after talking with you. I mean, I think humanity is still the killer app. We have to remember there are human beings on the other end of these screens. Uh,
Absolutely.
and keep it human, and I think you'll be better off.
Wes, I'm going to close this off. First off, thank you for having me. I really enjoyed this with the right questions because I'm not getting challenged enough, and I love having challenging questions because you have to stand by them and answer them truthfully. So then again, like the biggest about the sales, right? Once this whole AI blow over or takes up stuff like that, I truly believe that we will end up in a place where people would like to buy from people that they will meet. Like, listen, Ves, I'm going to buy from you. I don't care. Like, the money is no issue because now the bots are actually working and we have a shit ton of money to spend. It's another commodity. It's like, obviously, but where can we meet to grab a coffee, grab a lunch, grab a beer, and make this transaction? Because, like, people will be, well, that will be the best time for salespeople, right?
Yeah. Well, and I've been saying that too. It's like I think live events, AI is so good now, and it just keeps getting
Yeah.
better. These deep fakes, people are going to want to meet in person to know that it's real. And so conferences, put on your own conference, attend trade shows,
Mhm.
sponsor a happy hour, sponsor a breakfast or a lunch,
Yeah.
see people face to face, because it's at the end of the day, like humans haven't changed in 20,000 years. We are tribal creatures. We are social creatures.
Indeed, we
Even
are.
the introverts, they'll sit next to another introvert and both look at their phones, but they'd rather do it with another introvert
With other
by their
people.
side,
Yeah.
so they know they're not alone. So yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, because I've been saying the same thing. So either we're both crazy, and we may still be crazy, but it doesn't mean we're wrong.
Yeah, of course. No, listen, like time will tell. Nobody has the right answer or not right either the wrong answer at this point. Nobody knows like what's coming up next. But then again, like it gives us a little bit of everything that we saw into the past and now what we're seeing. And I mean, it gives the liberty to think about the future. Wes, I really enjoyed this one. Thank
I did
you
too.
very much for having me.
Yeah. Have a
Awesome.
good evening, and I will see you on LinkedIn.
Hopefully. Yes, I'll be there. Bye. Cheers.
So I told you making some changes, even changing the camera angle. How about that? We'll see how this works. But got to head to jiu-jitsu. Took a minute messing with the camera and then the recording, and life happens. But I told you were in for a treat, right? Good guy, great advice, great insight, how to launch, how to monetize, how to test, how to grow, how to be human, what's coming next. And hey, I think humanity really is the next killer app. So how good are you at being human? How good are you on the phone? We have all these, everybody's being catfished right now. You sound good. You sound smart. AI's kind of beefing things up, puffing you up. How good are you in person? It's coming. Okay. So if you need help with that, if you want to practice a few things before the big show, before the big test, let me know. All right. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I'll go sell something.